Attention, bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen!
Hello, Yodlers. We are the Matterhorn Yodlers. I am your host today, Jackie, and we have...
G-Fifth.
I'm Bob Chapek, everyone. I'm back.
Bob Chapek, aka Peter. And then today we have a special guest today. We've got Stormy and Nathan.
Hi.
And today we're going to be talking about Disney Vacation Club, which a lot of people don't know a lot about.
Including us.
Yeah. Other than it's expensive. That's what they say, you know. But we're gonna go into detail. So Stormy and Nathan are Disney Vacation Club members. How long have you been members?
Since 2018.
Yeah, we bought right in 2018, and with hopes that we'd be having lots of things, and then COVID happened. And so, we have 2 kids, and so we do Disney a lot, like I would imagine most listeners would. And so we decided to buy DVC because if we're going to go to Disney World or Disneyland, we might as well have a place to stay that's kind of nicer instead of,
Yeah.
Motel 6.
The Alpine.
Yeah, the Alpine right
Yeah.
behind Cars Land. Yeah, so Disney Vacation Club is Disney timeshare, where basically you purchase, was it points?
It is a point system.
Yeah,
So you purchase based on the amount of points that you want.
Yeah.
And luckily for us, it went up in 2018 because it used to be the minimum points you could buy was about 25. In 2018, it went up to a minimum of 75. Since recently, it's gone even higher than that. We bought in low because we're not doing Disney World every year.
Right.
We live on the West Coast. We're not going over there. We can, I can stay at like Holiday Inn by Disneyland, and then when I go to Disney World, I can live comfortable for a week, because really, when we vacation at Disney World, that's where we're staying a long time. We do Disneyland in a day or two.
Or we stayed at Alani for almost a week.
Yeah, there's a lot of pros and
Yeah, absolutely. And so the Vacation Club, you have, from what I know and what training I had when I worked at Disney World on the hospitality side, was you have points and you basically need to use them or you lose it unless you bank them.
Yes.
Right, you can bank them from 1 year to the next, and they expire after 2 years. And you can also borrow the future points as well for 1 year. So you can essentially have 3 years worth of points to use.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have 70 points from last year that I banked into this year. So that would give me 150. I still have next year's. I can borrow from that too, making 225. So it's math, and there you go for the day. That was my quick math for you guys.
How was so you talked a little bit about like the decision process of why you chose the Vacation Club, and it makes sense if it's for your family. You're traveling a lot more to Disney, and I think that's one of the main reasons why people buy Disney Vacation Club, is because if you're constantly going to Disney,
That's your main source of vacation.
Yeah.
it just makes sense.
I mean, like you said, it is expensive and it is an investment, but all in all, it is worth it, especially if you do Disney a lot. Like I said, we got to stay in Alani for almost a week, and those rooms were running over $700 a night.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And we didn't pay a penny.
that's amazing.
Yeah, with us, we originally didn't intend on buying. And if you are going to buy, I really recommend doing it at Disney World versus Disneyland, just because Disney World likes DVC. Disney World wants you to buy DVC,
Right.
They're going to pay, I think they're like, hey, come take this tour and we'll give you $100, or, you know what I mean? At Disneyland, they're like, we'll give you a fast pass and maybe a Mickey bar, you know what I mean? And that was when they had DVC. Like the last few times we've gone to Disneyland, they don't even have DVC cast members there right now.
Because they're limited on how much DVC availability they have.
They are building a brand new building at Disneyland.
Right.
Resort.
Hotel.
Yeah.
And one of the wings is going to be specified for DVC members. And they actually are opening up a DVC member lounge as well.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, the old...
It's going to be upstairs by Space Mountain, where they used to have an arcade over there.
Oh yeah, I remember the old arcade.
No, not the arcade.
It's
It's,
going to be
the...
above it. It's going to be above where the arcade used to be, I believe.
Well, no, that's the queue for Space Mountain. It's going to be in the old Innovations building on the second floor. That's where it's going to be at. Where they say, where they have the Star Wars thing, which they haven't opened up since COVID, so...
I really miss the House of the Future. I'm not gonna lie, even though it was like that.
Me too. I love that. The House of the Future.
I like the pirate,
the
Kid
pirate,
Row.
Yes.
the storytelling. Yeah.
Yeah, we had our daughter was like little when that was still a thing, and she was like, I want my room like this, and I was like, let her laugh.
Buy those lotto tickets.
1.9 billion today, or something like that today.
This is the house of the future. So maybe your children's children will have this room.
And this is the bank account of the president. They don't match.
Amen to that one. Yeah.
So when you buy your DVC points and membership, you have like a home base. So what is your home base?
Copper Creek.
Copper Creek.
It's
Yeah.
one of the
Okay.
newer resorts at Disney World.
Yeah.
Yeah, we bought that one specifically because it would be a 50-year contract. So based on when you buy, it determines how much years value you have. So like if we bought Old Key West, that's one of the older ones, and I think it might even be the oldest one if
I think so, yeah.
thinking off the top of my head. And so the contract on that is a lot less. And we figured we'd be going to Disney World more than we're going to Hawaii, because at the time we could pick between Copper Creek and Alani. Alani was selling at that time. And it just made more sense.
You're
in the
gonna
long-
visit Disney World than you would Hawaii.
Right.
Yes.
And the reason you pick your home base is because you can get your time earlier. You can book up to 11 months in advance at your home resort and only 7 months in advance at any other resort.
Yeah. So there's definitely that advantage. And I think is it less points at your home?
No, actually,
No.
it depends on the time of year. Actually, one of the cheapest resorts to stay in point-wise would be the Animal Kingdom Lodge. It's actually one of the cheapest point-wise.
And Old Key West.
And Old Key West as well.
And the pros with Old Key West is that the room sizes are bigger because when they built it, they were not realizing how, they were giving us more room. And I'm like, hey, and the points also depend upon like which size room, if you're getting a studio or you can get a the rooms get a lot bigger, but
some of the bigger resorts, they get up to 3 bedrooms. So
Yes, and the 3-bedroom suites are gorgeous.
yes, they are.
Yeah.
So I worked at Animal Kingdom Lodge, mainly in Kandani Village, which is the Disney Vacation, building. And they're 3-bedroom. They have like a 2-story, 3-bedroom suite, which is gorgeous. It can fit up to it's 14 or 15 people or something like that. But when I worked there, I can understand why Animal Kingdom Lodge is kind of less in points. It is farther, and the rooms are... It's a distance to walk in those rooms, the hallways and such. I just remember one guy came into the hotel, was super upset, and he goes, "This resort is too big. I cannot park and go. I'm going back to Old Key West." And I was like, and then he walked down. I was like, okay, have a magical day.
How do I respond to that?
Right.
Okay.
that's a whole nother podcast about
Yeah.
customers, right?
Right. So you've got your home base, but so you not only can use your points for your home base by other resorts, but there's like Alani you can use it for. I've also heard you can use it for cruises.
You can.
And
It's not a very
adventure.
good advantage. The cruises, it's a lot more points than you would think to use it on a cruise.
Is it?
Yeah. And maybe from our perspective, we've seen like that it doesn't match up for the money that we pay. You know what I mean? Like, it seems more cost effective just to pay for the cruise out of pocket and use our points in the resorts.
You can use it at Disneyland Paris as well.
Yeah,
really?
you can also, because it used to be with RCI.
Yeah, they just switched to a different company recently.
And so now, like, in Disneyland, there's only the California, Grand Californian that is DVC, but you can switch your points over and get Paradise Pier and Disneyland Hotel. We did, like, that was our first place that we booked our DVC, was the Paradise Pier Hotel. We stayed there for about a week, which...
during Halloween time.
It was during Halloween time, and so it was really, it was our first introduction to Disneyland on site.
Right.
And so, you know, our kids really liked doing that, you know, although it's not as Disney themed as other...
Well, that was back when it was probably beach themed still. Right?
Actually, it was Pixar. They just switched
They
it to
just
Pixar.
switched to the, like,
They
Pixar
started
balls.
going Pixar stuff.
Yeah.
In there. Yeah, I was...
Pixar ball pillows.
Okay, yeah, because when I was there, when I was there, they were playing the Pixar music in the lobby and things like that. So, like, you could tell they were in the middle of the changeover.
Right.
Okay, so there's fees. I don't know how much detail you want to get into it, but there are yearly
Tell
fees.
us your bank account information, how much money you
I work
make.
in a school, so no.
Mother's maiden name.
So the fees are based on how many points you buy.
Okay.
So on average, and you can pay it per year or per month. So on average, ours is about $50 a month in the maintenance fees. And then you have your loan. You can either pay outright or you can take out a loan, like a mortgage, basically, to pay for your DVC. And it's not as expensive as people think.
Yeah.
It really isn't that bad.
Well, the fact of the matter is it's 50 years, and so we could die tomorrow, but that contract doesn't go away. We've paid, you know, and that I can will that to our kids, or, you know, so it's 50 years of a timeshare. So if you don't believe in the whole timeshare mindset, then yeah, it's, you know what I mean. But basically, what do our vacations look like? We vacation at Disney. You know, there's been very few, like, vacations that, like, haven't been Disney. And our kids are getting older compared to, like, some of our friends. Like, we have a almost 15-year-old and 11-year-old. And the 15-year-old will pretend that she doesn't like Disney, but she can quote every Disney movie.
Oh, right.
You know what I mean? Like,
she's at that denial phase where she's just all like, no, it's not cool.
Let's put it this way. In the 15 years she's been alive, she's probably been on 35 to 40 trips to Disneyland herself. Ooh. We've gone quite often.
Put me to shame.
yeah.
It's like I worked there, and I was like, I don't know if I've been to the park that much.
Yeah.
Well, we had year passes a couple of times, and we used the year passes.
Of course.
And when they're free till they're 3,
you milk that.
Use it.
You know, yeah, and she doesn't want to be the Disney kid anymore. That's not her identity. But, like, she's like, but when are we going back to Disneyland, Mom?
It's not my identity, but...
So, you know, you said there are finance options, but just, like, an estimate range of, like, how much the 50-year contract would cost.
Ours, if you do... Ours, I think, was about $13,000 for the 75 points.
Okay.
And you get 75 points every year for 50 years. And that can be, so just kind of an example, using Animal Kingdom Lodge as an example, because it's one I've looked at quite often. During most of the off-peak times, it's about 9 points a night. So you could stay a week for that 75 points every year.
What would be like a higher end, you know, more expensive?
The Grand Californian, well, no, the Grand Californian is not that bad.
Let's just see what would be the highest one. I can Google this real quick.
Handy dandy cell phone.
Let's
newer
make
resorts
our
are
guess.
more.
Yeah, I'm like thinking Riviera maybe.
Riviera, the bungalows at the Polynesian.
Oh, bungalows.
That would be.
I think it is bungalows.
The
That would
bungalows
make
are always
sense.
the most expensive. Those are hard to get to.
There's limited. There's like not that many.
Well, it's just like trying to get into Grand California, and it's hard. There's been a few times that we've tried to get in and we couldn't.
Yeah.
They only have 50 rooms at the Grand Californian that are DVC rooms. Now you can book the non-DVC rooms, but it's more points.
Yeah. Okay.
How many points do we think the Grand Californian is a visit?
Let's see.
We're gonna go.
I'm gonna say 20.
I'm gonna
20
say like
points?
I think it's high.
15.
Well, it all depends on the time of year too. They have a points calendar that comes out, and the time of year is going to depend. So
Okay.
the off-peak obviously are going to be less points, but during on-peak it can get quite expensive.
For this time of year right now, for a studio, one night is going to cost you 76 points.
Whoa.
So it would be our
at
whole
the bungalows.
At the Grand
At the
Californian.
Grand Californian. Now this is also not off-peak time though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, let's see. We want to go say, what
Probably the Polynesian.
Polynesian.
Any of the monorail loop ones are going to be pricey
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Very true.
Okay, let's see. For a 2-bedroom bungalow, which sleeps up to 8 people, per night is going to be $185.
185 points.
185
I was like,
points.
$185. Woo, let's go.
Let's get on Hopper and see, you know.
Right. So
yeah.
those are definitely meant for the people who.
They have the bigger memberships, I would
Yeah.
say, or they
Yeah.
save.
Well, those who have bigger families too are going to buy more points so they can get the bigger rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
makes
son
sense.
can sleep on the little couch that they have, and my
Right.
daughter can sleep in the other bed. You know, we ain't too fancy, you know.
Right.
Heck, I'll sleep on the floor. I'm going to Disney World the next day.
Would you say the studio is can fit easily a family of 4?
Yeah, I
Yes.
feel like a studio.
We've actually shared it with another couple before. So we had 4 adults in a studio at the Grand Californian.
Yeah. So we've done, because, you know, of COVID, there's been almost 2 years of no travel for Disney. So we've stayed at the Grand Californian twice, Paradise Pier, and we stayed a week in Alani. So 4 out of, 5 years. That's not too bad. But in that stay, I would say the Grand Californian rooms are probably similar to the size-wise as your basic hotel, but you have better amenities, better bedding. You know what I mean? Like higher class, but room square footage-wise, it's about the same as a regular hotel.
It's no Pop Century.
Yeah.
No, and
The door doesn't hit the bed when you walk in. You know what I mean?
And a lot of the 1-bedroom plus, you'll get a full-size fridge, full-size kitchen. They have pots and pans there for you, silverware, all that.
Yeah, and then there with DVC. So say we're at Disney World for the week, or when we're in Lani, we can go do our laundry for free because of DVC. Like there's other like small perks that come around with that too. We have we have our card because we bought directly from Disney, and not on like the resale market. We have those benefits that they have. If you bought like today resale, there's a lot of benefits that are not included anymore because you don't get a card, which no one gets a card anymore.
You won't get the digital version either.
Yeah, you won't get the digital version, but yeah, now we have to there's not even an app for that yet. Come on, Disney. You have an app for everything, but you don't have an app for
Come on,
DVC.
we trust Disney with technology, right? They have a great reputation.
Now, I know that DVC members can sell their points for, a normal family that is just doing like a one-time visit. Do you have any knowledge or experience on that?
No experience with that, but I do know there's a couple of basically agencies that you can rent out your points through. But luckily we've never, and that's normally if your points are going to expire, you've got the use them or lose them type points, and you're like, oh, I can't make it there. That would be a great way to at least cover your dues for the year. That way you're not losing out on anything. But no, we haven't had that experience. And hopefully we don't have to, you know what I mean?
You want to use your points.
Right.
You don't want to give them away.
but you
can gift them to anybody.
Yeah, I'm like, if
You can give them to anyone, right? No.
You're getting me into Disney World, we'll share. Like
you buy the tickets, we'll provide the room.
That's a good trade-off.
That's a good deal. Okay, great. So, what's been your favorite place that you've used your points for?
Alani.
Yeah, I would say Alani. I did really like the Grand Californian. Like,
Very true.
I got a little spoiled. So for my birthday, we had a couple, just me and my husband went. And so it was nice because I'm like, I can go back to I'm like to the point where I'm like, oh, I can go rest for the day because it's 120 outside. I can go sleep. Ooh,
I can go take a couple-hour nap and then come back when the sun's gone down. Yeah.
You know, when like Peter Pan's like a 3-hour wait line, or so I feel like that was really nice just because I'm right there. Mm-hmm. It's I got really spoiled with that, but Alani was beautiful. But we went into Alani in March of 2021. Mm-hmm. So it was like the first thing anyone could do right after COVID. So there was still a lot of restrictions, and we had a lot of fun, but I'm sure without all those restrictions now,
it'd be more.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. The kids enjoyed it a lot, which, although I think they both decided they were not beach people. They both said, Mom, we're theme park people. So this is, and I think we all decided, look, it's pretty, but can we do something now?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think that's what it comes when you're deciding if it's worth doing Disney Vacation Club. It just depends on how you like to vacation.
Very true. It's not for everybody. If you don't do Disney a lot, it's really not worth it. But if you're somebody that is gonna go at least every other year, it is worth it.
Yeah, that's great to know that like you can bank points up to 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you can save up for like a big stay.
Exactly.
Yeah. So. We had a vacation planned. We're going for a week in Disney World in June of 2020. And if anyone remembers 2020,
yeah,
they said, "Oh no, you will not be coming here."
Right.
Yeah.
So
shutting down.
Yeah, we paid for that whole trip. Like everything was paid for, and I'm like, maybe it'll open by then. Maybe it'll. No. It
was July, right?
It was July, and then by that time I was like, we're not.
It's not the right time.
No, it's not the right time. I was like,
Did Disney...
July with a mask on?
Right, in Florida.
No.
Mm-mm.
Did Disney do anything for you guys during COVID?
They refunded our tickets. They did not refund the
photo pack.
What is it called?
The memory maker?
Yeah, memory maker. They said that never goes away. We still have it then, apparently, because I don't think we ever used it. So we still have that because they said that never expires. So they did refund our tickets and stuff like that. So that was all right.
Yeah, and luckily our airline, we got a credit for that. And that's how we ended up being able to go to Alani, because by March, ticket prices were so low, we could transfer what cost from here to Florida we saved money, like
right.
So we were able to go to Hawaii and paid nothing because our trip had already been paid for Disney World, and we're like, hey, okay,
right.
Yeah, so
nice.
Sounds fancier than it was. That trip was, but
any future plans that you're excited for, or places you want to stay?
Disneyland Paris.
Yeah.
That is going to be in the books eventually.
Can you use it at their hotels
Yes,
there?
at the Disneyland Paris hotel only. The other ones, no.
Well, that's the one
we might be able to exchange points
for some of the other ones.
Yeah, like it's not a perfect exchange rate, but yeah, we talked about doing Paris for our 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Which is not as far off as I thought it was.
I know that date gets
only 4
close
more years
real quick.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's only 4 years. 4 more years.
I just remember when me and my wife got married. It's like, yeah, we're gonna go to Japan by our 5th anniversary, and it's like we're getting close to our 10th now, and that's not anywhere close to happening.
For our 10th,
so.
we did Disney World by ourselves for a week.
Oh,
Yeah.
That was great.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
that would be nice.
No kid.
It is great without the kids.
I love my kids.
Right.
And I actually feel way more guilt about going to Disney without my kids than
Oh,
my
I don't.
but yeah, that was bomb.com. That shows you my 90s kid,
Right.
you know. Also, I don't know if you know this, but Disney does Moonlight Magic for DVC members.
Yeah, explain what Moonlight Magic is.
So a lot of those activities are in Florida. We were able to go to one right before COVID at Disney California Adventure, and essentially it's a party just for Disney Vacation Club members.
It's free entrance. They have free snacks. Most of the rides are open.
Yeah, so when we went, it was California Adventure. They had a lot of rare characters out. We got to see Bowler Hat Guy and Willis. We saw Huey, Dewey, and Louie. They
don't make that many appearances.
No.
That's
Yeah.
like the marathon.
Right.
Right. Marathon, they bring
Yeah.
out some of those rare characters.
Yeah, my son flipped when he saw Huey doing Donald Duck is my favorite, so I might have passed that on a little bit to my son. So he was just like, we waited in that line for probably forever. But yeah, they gave us vouchers that we could all get. So it was good for up to 4 guests, and so that works perfect for our family. So we were able to get in. We got each a voucher for dinner, and we were able to go do that. They have merchandise shopping, but I wasn't too. There was no Disney pins because I'm a pin collector, as Peter knows. It's a little obnoxious, but that's a whole different topic about my spending habits at Disney.
You sound like you're perfect for our next podcast. Disney adults.
Sneak peek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also had the ice cream carts were open, and you could get as many as you wanted throughout the night.
So much ice cream.
It was
Yeah.
great. I can't tell you how many Mickey bars I had that night.
Yeah,
It was
I
great.
was like,
Is
we
it-
paid for this membership.
Yeah.
Use it as much.
Get the backpack. Be like, yeah, I want another one. Oh, I want
Trick
another
or
one,
treat.
and another one, and
Yeah.
another one.
They were just starting these after hour parties right when I was leaving Disney World, and they had extra tickets at the resort, so they gave me one. And I just remember had my backpack was filling up on sodas and stuff. And
Yeah, I think especially in Florida, it's a lot
They are
bigger.
better.
yeah.
Bigger than what they do because
It's easier to do it there because they have multiple parks.
right.
More
So
members.
it's more members. Yeah, there's not as much disruption to business.
Yeah, it's a
than
travel.
it is at California.
Disneyland is a locals park.
It is.
Disney
Yeah.
World is your tourists. You know what I mean? And that's cool. It's a different crowd, different dynamic, and they both have pros and cons with both of them. But yeah, they also have the members lounges, like Nathan talked about. Disneyland's getting one. They have one in Epcot.
Which is great.
Where's
That's-
that?
Yeah,
It's
we're
above the Figment ride.
So
Oh,
in the
okay.
imagination.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
where all the old playground used to be in that glass dome area.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yes.
And they've got video games for the kids, soda fountains for the adults, snacks, things like that.
Is it better than the Coca-Cola one?
Yes.
Where they don't have
There's no
they have
sticky
actual-
floors.
There's the floors aren't sticky, and you're there's only one real good soda.
They
That's
got-
why it's free.
Beverly, right? Everyone
Beverly.
try
Beverly.
Beverly.
Yeah, the one from
Yeah.
Mexico.
I tricked Mark to drinking that when we went to Disney World last, and I was like, oh, let's go try all the sodas. And he was just, I didn't tell him anything about Beverly, and he was going, and he skipped Beverly, and I was like, oh, did you try that one? And he's like, oh, no, I didn't. And he tried, I was giggling inside. I'm like, you're suffering.
Yeah, when we took our kids to Disney World for the first time, we'd already gone to Vegas and done the World of Coke there.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, no. Yeah.
It's a trap.
Our oldest is very sassy, and she's like, we should tell everybody else, but I'm not drinking that. So they have free sodas for members up there. They also, like, it's been a little sporadic about the snacks. We've gone up there a couple times. They've given our kids like chips and stuff like that. They have like, you can just relax, and you know, it's really hot out there, and then like just charge your phone or your devices or whatever.
Just a great place to escape.
Yes.
Yeah. And Epcot, well, and when we were there, I mean, it pretty much still is, but it was construction center.
It's still,
Yeah,
it's a big hole in the ground.
Yeah. It's like the I-10. The construction that never ends, you know? But, yeah, and then they also have the Members Lounge, which is just getting rethemed to Villain's Lair. Is that what it's, right? In Bay Lake Tower.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. They had special viewing for the fireworks on the roof.
Yeah.
And a special restaurant for members.
7-layered cake. I mean, it's a little pricey. I mean, for cake. I'm not a big cake person, but yay for cake for everybody.
When it's Disney cake, you gotta try it.
Yeah.
You can watch the fireworks off the roof from the roof of Bay Lake Tower.
Yeah. So you're on the roof of Bay Lake Tower, which, you know, is part of the Contemporary. So you can see the castle, you can see Space Mountain. It's basically the perfect view. And they funnel the music through and they dim the lights, so you get to see it from like an aerial perspective,
Right.
Versus like, you know, it's just a different viewing point.
And that's one thing I do appreciate what Disney does is, like, if you're staying at the resort and you have a room with a view of the parks, that they do have like channels or audio that you can listen and watch the shows. Because I know I did that with World of Color when we stayed at
right.
The
Grand?
No, not the Grand. The Pixar Pier.
Oh, right.
And so so like that was kind of nice. We're like, escape the crowd, go to our room, and turn the channel to the right thing, and just watch the water show from our room, and then go right to bed right afterward, and not have to fight through the mob.
Right. Nothing like trying to get on a tram right after everyone's leaving.
Yeah.
Or that dreaded boat at Magic Kingdom.
The boat or monorail.
I'm always like, is this how it was getting to Ellis Island for our relatives? Everyone's miserable and hot.
Forgot to put on deodorant or something. You know?
Oh, deodorant doesn't work in Florida after noon.
Now, you mentioned you bought, like, at that time, the lowest package of points. Do you have the option to add?
Yes, at any point in time, you can add more points.
They'll take your money?
I
was just wondering.
They will.
I get an email about once a month saying, special offer for $2,000 off. And I was like, if it's $2,000 off, I don't want to see the actual price. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're always like, hey, add on. But
and you can add on from different resorts too. So you could have 75 points from Copper Creek and then another 50 at Alani, and so you can use
multiple.
So it's like Monopoly with vacation points.
So if you're a millionaire, you can literally play Monopoly.
I guess that's true.
With Disney
we'll be
property.
staying at Boardwalk.
Any last questions?
So if you have any advice, because, you know, we are not members, you know, what would be the first step that you would recommend doing?
Take a tour. See if that's, you know, what they have to offer is within your budget, and if it's somewhere you would like to be. Because if it's not somewhere you're going to like, don't bother. Get your free Fast Pass or Mickey Bar or, you know, whatever they're offering tomorrow. That's what would take the tour. Because if anything else, it might not be the first time that you will look at it, but the second or third time, you're like, okay, we have a goal, or this is what we want. Because we didn't buy on the first time we looked at DVC. When we went to it, we weren't planning on buying, but we're like, you know what, this just really makes sense right now. Our kids were, you know, they're not babies, but they weren't, you know, old. You know, we're like, well, yeah, in
They're
50
at that
years.
right age, yeah.
I'm
Well,
like,
you guys can all enjoy the park
all,
together, as opposed to like, oh, this
and we-
child's killing me right now.
and like, I'll be hard on my kids most of the time, but they do Disney well. Like, our kids just like magically get along on vacation. Like they just know like, oh, mom's gonna get crazy if you're mean at Disneyland. It's pretty much a religious experience, you know. So they're really great travelers, and they have been since they were born. So Disneyland is just or Disney World, Disney Anywhere is just really a good use of our family time. And so that's what I would. And if you're buying, see if it makes sense to buy in the resale. If you're not going to go for your 10 to 15% off your restaurants because you're going to have like your world's, what's it called?
World Showcase?
No, the card that like, you have discounts at, Tables of Wonderland card.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You have that, or you have your annual pass discounts. Maybe buying resale does make sense. Like, kind of weigh out your options is what I would, because,
Well, and the nice thing about taking the tours is they will break all the numbers down for you based on how you vacation. They'll say, well, how much do you average on this and that? And they'll break it down for you and kind of show you if it makes sense for you. And they also have a place to stash your kids while you're in the meeting. So.
Oh, yes.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh.
So you don't have the kid like, are we done yet?
No, and at Disney World.
They feed them ice cream and give them games to play.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
It's like, here's a puppy, and
My daughters, wish she would be there.
yeah,
Should be sad we're leaving.
Yeah.
My kids always ask if they can do the tour while we're there.
yeah, and they're older. I think they're aged out of even the kids' room anymore.
Do you just do the tour, but you're wearing like fake mustache?
Yeah. Well, and at the time, so this is 2018. Our son's like, Mom, you have to come into the play place, and I was like, okay, how old was he? So it's 5 years ago. He was 6.
Yeah.
He's like, Mom, look at this. And he puts his hand in this hole and he goes, it washes my hands for me. I was like, why don't they have this everywhere? So like, just the cool little touches that they have there. They have, they had snacks for the kids, and then whether you bought or not, everyone was getting a sundae from the little ice cream parlor that they have right there.
Yeah.
And so, the kids are like, wait, can't we just go back there and get ice cream? And I was like, that ice cream costs a lot of money. You don't realize,
Yeah.
And they're very non-pressure, too. It's not
was
like
very
going to a car
non-pressure.
dealership.
Yeah, I didn't
It's not
feel
like a
the
commission
sharks.
situation.
I don't think so.
I think it probably is to some degree. I don't know, but they're like, we're family. This is, DVC, they always say, welcome home. Mm-hmm. And
That's right. They do say that.
Yes.
And it's an amazing experience the first time you stay at one of their resorts with your points.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
You check in, welcome home, Nathan, welcome home, Stormy. And
then
that's just that special touch.
And it's on the screen. It says welcome home Fleming family on the screen. So.
Yeah.
I can see them butchering mine like the ET ride.
Oh, yeah.
Be like, go home, and then like I've told this story before. They said my dad's name, was like, that's amazing, and like they said my name before, but it was like gibberish. And I was like, he must have been speaking native ET or something. And then I was like, welcome home, and you're like, what is that?
Yeah, everyone always thinks I'm putting a fake name on everything, so it doesn't really matter with me. They're like, Stormy, okay.
Were you a weather person?
Yeah.
All right, Misty, yeah, but I mean, all in all, some days I'm like, like that was a whole a whole lot of money. But ultimately, I think, I think it's worth it for our family.
Definitely, I agree.
We have our cheaper stays, but when we have those longer stays, or we just want, we're gonna go for a night and we'll stay at the Grand. That's been worth it. So
You seem satisfied with.
Yeah.
And
we're satisfied with our care.
You're doing really good with convincing me.
It's like Jackie with the cruise. She stole me on the cruise, and I'm like, wow, DVC sounds nice.
I heard you. Well, I listened to that one. I was like, Nathan, I think we need to go on a Disney cruise.
Look, I'm like we're pretty sure we're going on another cruise.
You're always
this coming
gushing
year.
about it.
I loved it.
Okay, well, maybe we'll do a cruise and we'll invite you guys on next time we go to the Grand.
How long do the walkthroughs normally take?
About an hour and a half.
Oh, so that's not that bad.
No.
Longer if you get really into the numbers, but
yeah,
I think they average about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I would say so. So that's also a reason why when you're at Disney World, it's worth it. They transport you from whatever resort you're at. They'll take you directly to the park. They'll, and I don't even know what they're doing for Disneyland now because DVC hasn't been there, but I was like, an hour and a half at Disneyland is a lot of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because especially when it's early and they're like, here, we'll give you 4 fast passes. And I'm like, okay.
Right.
And what are they doing now?
You.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, things have obviously changed a lot because the world has changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's cut down on the availability of the resorts too, just because there's an abundance of points right now. The whole Disney Vacation family wasn't able to use their points for quite a long time just because of travel restrictions.
Right. And they're in that point of like, we got to use it or we're going to lose
exactly.
it.
Yeah, they were a little more lenient. They were lenient on that one.
I think they let you keep an extra year's points because of COVID.
That's nice.
Yeah, so...
Oh, how merciful
I
the
know.
mouse is.
How
to
merciful.
it.
Well
then,
You can have this piece of cheese a little bit longer.
But yeah, I mean, overall, we really, really enjoy it. We get exclusive merchandise opportunities. We get discounts.
It's like 15% off all merchandise, 10% off all food.
I do laugh
That's
at some of them,
nice.
though.
Yeah.
That's
It
nice.
actually
I
saves
miss
more than you
discounts
think.
like that.
Yeah. Well, and when Disney stores were a thing, they would...
Right.
I
we
know.
get
You can't go to Target and get it. And you're like, I'm DVC. Look at this.
And they'd be like, okay, I have a Blockbuster card. What's that going to do for you? Like,
Yeah, they'll be like, what's DVC? Like,
well, I feel like some cast members do the same thing. I'm not going to lie. I'm like, hello,
do you feel like you're treated differently being a DVC member on the negative side?
Not at Disney World.
No.
At Disney World, you're treated like royalty.
Yeah.
Yeah, Disney World is your home for DVC. Disneyland, you're the step kid.
A lot of cast members don't know about DVC at Disneyland, actually. And when you bring it up to them, they have to go talk to a manager to even give you a discount.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like at our last time, so they just changed, we if you have a card, the cards have all expired and now it's all digital. So we brought our physical card and they're like, but we had seen, so I put the digital one in my wallet. They're like, well, you don't have to, we need your ID and this. Well, we can't do it from your wallet. We need to see it on the website. And I was just like, can you just have a universal, code? Sometimes it's just everyone needs to talk to themselves and be like, can we all have a consensus here? You know what I mean? I'm like, do you need a blood? Draw some blood. What do you got?
I've got a stool sample for that cast member.
I'll leave it right
That's
on the
another
front
podcast
desk.
as well.
Nice and warm.
I imagine there's probably going to be a new push and training when they finish that new tower
Yes.
for the
yeah.
Disneyland Hotel.
I'm
so.
excited about that.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful.
Yeah, I'm excited, and I hope. Hopefully, it means that availability will be larger for California because
It's really hard to get a room at the Grand
yeah,
California.
we've wait listed, and the 2 times that we stayed at Grand California, and we've gotten those wait lists, but it was, are we gonna get it? Or are we gonna stay somewhere?
Right.
Yeah.
Where are we staying? Or we moved our trip, I think, for my birth. We went a date earlier so we could go and stay at the Grand. I was like, that way. But yeah.
Nice.
Well, I got one last question.
Yeah.
Where's the dream location? Realistic dream. I mean, I know we mentioned bungalows, but we're like, all right. But what is one that you're really shooting for, maybe saving up for?
I would like the Polynesian.
The Polynesian would be nice. We've been inside it a few times, but we haven't stayed
Yeah, I
there.
haven't stayed at the Polynesian.
Is the new tower that they're building, is that going to be DVC?
Yes.
At Disneyland?
At Disney World.
Disney
Oh, Disney
World.
The
World.
Polynesian.
Oh,
Yep.
I imagine so.
Ooh.
Yeah, they are
Yeah.
building a DVC tower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the Polynesian. It's
I
my
love-
It's
favorite
beautiful.
resort.
I don't know, the smell when you walk into the Polynesian,
Mhm.
that's what Disney does best though, right? They
The
get you in
smells.
all of the sense and
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? They hit you all your senses, but no one else does the smells like Disney.
It's not like
That
Universal.
sounds
You
weird.
walk in, you're like, it smells like trash.
I'm trash. about that park. No, I'm just joking. Just joking for all my cast members, or
Universal.
We are not liable for statements made by our guests, all right?
What am I?
Put that out there.
Statements made by guests and hosts are not. And
The views of Stormy and Nathan do
That's
not
it.
necessarily reflect those of
That's it.
the Matterhorn yodelers.
Yeah.
Please be advised.
Well, awesome. Well, I feel like you convinced me a little bit closer to that step.
I think it would work really well for you.
Maybe. That's definitely a possibility. The only hang-up is cruise. It's
Right.
It's
Well, I
worth
mean-
it.
It is, but you have to buy a lot more points if you want to use it for cruising.
All right, gotta tell my husband to work harder and get a raise so I can vacation
you need
harder.
to get a promotion.
But again, you can start small.
Yeah.
Start with the smallest amount of points and work your way up. You can always add at any point in time.
Yeah. So, well, I really appreciate you guys coming out and talking about your Disney Vacation Club experience with us. And for all of our listeners, if you guys have questions, let us know. Shoot it out in the comments, and we will answer them for you to our best knowledge.
I'm good at Google.
But if you're really curious, like Stormy and Nathan said, go do a visit. Next time you're out doing a trip to Disney, do a visit. Do a tour. So, with that being said, have a magical day.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember,
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.